Anyway,
talking
so
about how he wants
so,
to
so
date
about how
Goku
Naruto is about furry propaganda.
This is the opposite of no yiker shit.
Wait, how's it Yikers? Wait.
Already in the weeds.
Okay, I'm gonna do sound
In the
tests
roots.
for everybody. Wait, why is this showing up now? Holy fuck, this is scuffed. What's going on? There's like a bar at the bottom of the screen. Why is there a bar?
Oh.
There's a bar at the bottom of the screen.
There's a bar at the bottom of my screen. I have no idea why.
Dude, booksmarts, there's a bar at the bottom of your screen, dude. Oh, you fixed it. Okay.
It's important to do sound checks and
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
just
tech before we go live.
I was like, oh, it'll all
I like this shit
work.
the last time.
I don't know how I got this bar to appear here, but now there's a bar. Why?
Professional.
Oh,
On,
but I posted you in Chad's bullet, and now they're already making fun of you.
Based.
If you look, they clipped your
That's
sheets.
what you expect out of
in your OBS, can you change it so the frame's just on the portion you want shown?
I can,
help
but
out?
that's like making everybody even tinier than they already are gonna be. Like I don't know why, but like a fourth of my Discord is just covered with like a gray bar now, and I don't know what I clicked to do that. Oh man, and it only shows up when I go full screen. Very interesting. Oh, now the bar is on the right hand side. Whoop, now it's gone. Screen share. Nope.
Dude, you have better lighting.
Well, like, people think you lied, but now everyone thinks you're white.
What? I'm not white.
Look at Chad's. Look at
I'm
Chad's right
not
now.
in Chad's.
You're not.
What are
Okay,
they
fine.
What are they saying? Yo.
This thing. Oh wait, what the fuck? I thought Bullet was white. Sorry, I thought Bullet was
Why would they
Asian.
think I'm white?
No, sorry. They thought you were Asian.
I am Asian.
I know, but they think you're white, I guess. Listen, you have charming Elliot Rodgers vibes.
What?
In the nice way.
Yeah, I could see that. In the good way.
Yeah.
I probably should never anything like that ever again.
Oh, I can see that.
I mean,
Okay, bro.
Are you still having the bar problem?
I am.
Dude, you
I
have,
just
you
cropped
have
it out, I
Jeffrey Epstein
guess.
vibes, dude.
I have no idea where there's a bar.
Yes, I'm what's it called? I have lots of connections with people with power. Yeah, I'm very charming.
Yikes. Oh yikes.
I wouldn't keep
if
leaving
anything
that.
ever happens to me, it's because of someone else, the deep state.
Yeah, I believe it was Alex Jones revealed that Andrew Breitbart died because Democrats let off a bomb in his heart.
Some rumors about that he didn't like fall. What was it? Did he say he fell off a boat? But no, he was actually
No, he-
beforehand or something.
Oh, you're thinking of Scalia.
Maybe that's
Of journalism.
Listen, man, I'm sorry.
No, Andrew Breitbart died of a heart attack, and Alex Jones said he was assassinated because they placed a bomb in his chest.
Yeah, listen, man. I can't. I'm not gonna get into too deep. I can't get hype power level. Kidding.
All right, Lux, I need you to talk and I need you to scream for me.
Who?
Luxifer?
What? What do you want?
Because you're always
You hear me?
quiet. You're a quiet motherfucker, and I gotta make sure that you sound okay.
Let's speak loudly if you want.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing. All right. So I'll just go ahead and without further ado get into it. So the plan for today is to do a more scuffed version of the Naruto panel that we did last time. It's scuffed by no fault of the participants. This time it's all my fault. I did not prep anything. To be fair, I had less than a week, okay? I had less than a week to get everything ready, okay? That doesn't, I think that should excuse me a little bit.
Let's do for the last panel.
So unfortunately, I have like a gray bar in my Discord. I don't know why there's a gray bar in the bottom corner of my Discord. If anybody has a solution to that, please DM me on Discord or DM me on Discord. I'll open it on my phone. In the meantime, I have no solution for the fact that these call buttons pop up here because, again, like a quarter of my screen is gray and I have no idea why. It only shows up when I go full screen in the video mode. And that's the only way that I can get their name tags to fill in. I don't have name tags because it would have taken forever to create it. So sorry. To kind of get to know our participants today, I have some basic questions, and after they do their intros, we'll go through those like lightning fast, and then we'll get into some of the main topics for today, which are all a bit of a secret because, again, I didn't do a Notion document. We'll go ahead and go around, and everybody, you can do an introduction of yourself, tell them about who you are, what you do, that kind of nonsense. We'll start with Bullet.
I'm Bullet Magnet. My entire identity is that I like anime and that I'm a simp for Destiny. You can check out our games for the small board game company I run at housefishballoon.com. Most of all, I just want to say thanks to Book for having us on again. I think this will be a fun one for sure.
Okay, Hugh.
Yeah, so I'm Hugh. I'm a purely good faith debate bro from DGG. And if anyone says otherwise, they're lying. Yeah, yes, Book, they're lying. I'm also a bit of weeb, but generally, and also I'm a med student, so I'm gonna try hard.
Okay, Luxifer.
I'm Lux. I usually debate politics, but I couldn't pass up an opportunity to defend ethnic genocide, so I'm just here for that. Thank you.
And then Rames.
Rames actually couldn't be here today. He said he was uncomfortable with the moral grays of the topic. I'm his cousin Semyar. I'm actually left-handed. Rames is right-handed. Rames has perfect eyesight. I need to wear glasses. He wears AirPods because he's Chad. I have to wear this gamer headset. It's actually surgically attached to my ears. And I wear a hat because my hairline's fucked up while his hairline does not budge. So, nice to meet you all.
Man.
All right. And now I'm going to go around in the same order. So it's going to go Bullet, Hugh, Lux, Semyar. And we're going to answer some questions just real quick, okay? The first question is going to be, who is best boy or girl? You can pick one.
Best girl, my position has not changed at all. Sakura is deductively best girl, period. No question. Don't mute me.
Okay, on to Hugh.
I'm gonna go with best boy, okay? And best boy is 100% Naruto. I don't care if you're a Sasuke simp, a Itachi simp. Naruto is best boy. I will fight you on that. You're just wrong.
Okay, picking the main character. I see you're going with safer answers today. Interesting.
Oh,
All right.
whatever.
Luxifer.
I would say best boy is Rock Lee because he should have been the main character, and I think everyone knows it. But unfortunately, we got that bullshit Naruto guy, and I guess we're stuck with him.
All right, and Semyar.
I'd have to go Haku, very loyal to the end, had a very platonic, loving bond with Zabuza and brought him to the light side in the end.
Okay, all right. And the next question, this is going to be a tough one. What is your favorite anime? We'll go around the room.
Damn. Yeah, fuck it. Monogatari is definitely my favorite anime.
There it
Fuck
is.
it.
Mask off.
Fuck. Yeah, fuck it.
Who's your favorite character
too
from
philosophy joking.
Monogatari?
Shut the fuck up. Why do you always have to ask me this, dude? Oh.
It's
Not
the
answering. No
6-year-old. Woo! All right, Hugh.
No,
What's
it's
your
not.
favorite anime?
Jeez, at least 21 mentally.
Okay, best anime, 100% Bleach. It's gonna be a comeback. They're gonna animate the final arc. I'm super hyped for it. Best philosophy, best fights, best powers. It's base.
All right, Lux.
Uh, I really liked Code Geass. I think it was underrated. I like that anime a lot. That was my favorite.
Okay,
I
Samyar.
think the plot is pretty like solid.
The 1990s version of Berserk. I really like the OST in that, especially the Bonfire of Dreams song. You should check it out if you haven't.
All right. And now this one might be a little complicated. This one might be hard for you guys. Who or what is your favorite arc in Naruto?
I think that for me, that's probably a tie between the Akatsuki hunting arc and the Zabuza arc. I think if you rewatch the Zabuza arc, there's a lot of it really establishes why Naruto is like so beloved by a lot of people. It's not just like nostalgia. I think it really is a really good storytelling arc. So
Okay, Hugh.
Yeah, I'd probably go with the pain arc. I think it develops Naruto majorly. It kind of puts a whole spin on the series, where he can't just be strong because that's not enough. You have to actually like be philosophically like quote unquote correct. So yeah, it made it a lot less punching things. I win.
All right, Lucifer.
Honestly, I thought the tuning exams were great because you introduced all of the characters that were like central to the show, and there was a lot of fights, and there was like really good animations, and I feel like the animation sort of went downhill from that point. And the stuff was actually about being ninjas, and they weren't like dropping meteors and shit. So there was a lot going on there that I liked.
All right. And lastly, Semyar.
I would say the pain arc as well. However, Kishimoto is a coward for undoing everyone's deaths. Bullshit. He should have just let Pain wipe everyone off the map.
true.
Okay.
Bro, see metaphorical, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah, he's already getting into the genocide.
Yeah. Well, speaking of genocide, I may have some predictions as to what the answer to this question might be for some of you. Who is your favorite character from the Naruto series? Not best boy, not best girl. Who's your favorite like personal character, Bullet?
Oh, probably Itachi, definitely.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Stay mad, Hugh. Stay mad.
Nope.
Stay mad.
Hugh, what's yours?
I think Sasuke, because his development is more interesting.
Okay. What about
Yes.
you, Lux?
Honestly, I think Itachi's probably the best character too.
My man.
All right. And Semyar.
Probably Gaara.
Gara? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. He's got good drip in both series, good character development, changes from someone who, was an absolute unloved monster to being very beloved by his village, protects everyone, sacrificed himself. I think he honestly should have died too in Shippuden. That was another instance of Kishimoto being a coward, but, it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he got brought back. That was a little bit lame. Would have been kind of made the Akatsuki more scary if he would have passed away. All right.
By an old woman who her whole specialty is puppets and making puppets, but she just so happens to also know a technique that can bring back the dead.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, bro, she basically gives life to puppets. So in a way, you could say she can give life to Gaara.
Yeah, is the Gaara that came back the same Gaara or a clone of his consciousness?
Ooh. Ooh. All right. Let's start with my least favorite topic that you people came up with. Let's go ahead and start off with this stupid fucking Sakura question. So basically, the question goes like this, audience at home. Which of the Akatsuki members, if any, could Sakura defeat? by the end of Shippuden, we're talking Sakura at the end of the war arc, right? Which Akatsuki members, if any, could she defeat? And I'll just let it be a fucking free-for-all. Go ahead, guys.
Zetsu.
Oh, shit.
She can kill both Zetsus. There you go.
So can we just start from the bottom and go up?
Actually, wait, hold on. We should definitely do intros because you fuckers are crazy. All right, we'll start with Bullet. Bullet, who?
Hell yeah. Okay. Zetsu loses. He's weak as fuck. No jutsu. Sasori loses because in the original fight it was in the original fight it was super close. So with regeneration, she should easily win. Hidan loses because they're both immortal, but she has more firepower. Konan loses because she's a beta. Kakuzu loses because he's also a beta and he doesn't have enough defensive capability to survive her attacks, but she does. Datara loses because his attacks are powerful, but she would just regenerate, and he'd probably get hit by like a rock while he's flying. Kisame loses because he just doesn't have anything powerful enough. Orochimaru loses because I don't think he's shown anything that actually can combat Sakura and kill her. Toby loses because he tried to teleport.
Okay, no, we're going next.
I should've-
This motherfucker's
Pain
Pain
mean.
loses. Pain loses. He's powerful.
This is so stupid.
He doesn't-
This is so dumb. This is bullshit.
$20 to
Itachi
mute,
wins,
people.
I will say.
$20 to mute.
Itachi wins, okay?
Nicole, do it.
Humongous, your turn.
Here. All right. You don't need to ramble on. Just say the correct answer, okay? So Itachi wins. Sasori maybe wins, and maybe Pain wins. That's it. Like everyone else loses 100%. No difficulty. Remember, we're talking about end of series Sakura. To be clear, end of series. Remember.
Yeah, with the regeneration ability. Yeah.
And also, she's so strong. Her punches are like nuclear bombs.
Yeah, true. That's why she beats Orochimaru and Pain.
Yeah, she one shots.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree. Yeah, thanks you.
Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, Luxifer, please bring some fucking reason to this shit.
All right.
What's your take?
Let's be clear about this. Just because she has regenerative abilities doesn't mean she's immortal. Okay, if somebody cuts her heads off, she's done.
Her head.
Right, like, can we be, yeah, her head off, she's done. If she drowns, she's done. She's not gonna beat Kisame.
Okay.
She's not gonna beat Kakuzu. She's not gonna beat any of these people. The only person she's gonna beat is freaking what's his name, Zetsu. That's it. That's the only person. She can't even beat Hidan because he's more immortal than she is. If he stabs himself in the eye, she's dead. Like, there's no way around that. She doesn't get to regenerate that. If he cuts his brain off, she's dead. She's done. She doesn't regenerate that. She's not immortal, guys. She's not him. You can't cut her head off and then she's around. Look at what happened to Tsunade. She got cut in half and she was done. She was alive, barely, but that's just because Madara was like, I got better things to do. He left her there to die. She was done. There's nothing she's gonna do. Come on, man.
You're forgetting one important thing.
Whoa, hey, you're
All right,
forgetting
sure,
that we don't
okay.
talk during intros, you dumb fuck. All right, off to Semka.
Oh,
Waiting,
no,
I'm waiting.
triggered. I'm triggered too, Hugh.
I think Sakura beats White Zetsu. I think she beats Sasori. I think she beats Hidan, and I think she probably ties with Datara, where he blows himself up and kills the two of them.
Okay.
Because she doesn't have special time jutsu to disappear.
All right. Open discussion, but I got my eye on you, Bullet. If you're saying every fucking one, I don't know, brother.
I am saying it. Okay, listen, Tsunade was only like that because she ran out of chakra. Right? That's how she loses immortality.
So let me see one more thing.
I think
I think you forget Sakura is not slow. She is fast. You remember all the whole Sasori fight? Her evasiveness is like very, very high level. For example, that she was trained specifically by Tsunade. Her goal in training was what? Medical ninjutsu?
Is
to hit hard.
specifically stated.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, specifically in that fight, it's shown that she actually does not have the capabilities to
Right.
dodge Sasori. She's being
Wait.
controlled by Lady
Yeah.
Chio's strings,
Wait.
who uses her as a puppet.
Wait. So, again, to be clear though, do you agree? Wait, sorry. So do you think that basically it doesn't matter who the person was? Is that what you're saying? So basically, so if it was any random dude that Chio was controlling, it would also have been able to dodge?
But she's enhancing her capabilities because on her own
Wait.
they weren't enough.
Oh no, I agree it's enhancing, but okay.
I don't know if this matters.
So Sakura is the whole point is she's fast. Like Hidan is slow as fuck.
True.
I agree. She beat
Okay.
Hidan.
Yeah. So she he said no. So,
I think so.
He can be. Okay, she can turn Hidan into paste,
Yeah.
like a red mist, literally.
I don't know. About
I
that?
think the thing about it, right, is like,
Oh wait,
I don't think that she dies if her head gets cut off, does she? I think it would regenerate from the neck down. I think
Oh
the thing
no,
about
no,
Tsunade,
she well, she can't
Really?
regenerate a whole limb. If she reattaches a limb, it'll like heal, but she can't like
Are you
grow back
sure?
an arm. You have to put it back on.
I think that's true for Hidon, but not her. I think that she regenerates
Well,
if
for
it's meant
Tsunade,
to,
because
right?
Tsunade got cut in half, but you bring the legs together, then it'll heal.
Well, no,
But you
remember,
can't grow legs.
Tsunade wasn't able to regenerate, I think, because she ran out of chakra.
Yeah, no, but
But is she growing back her body? Like Tsunade's not growing back her legs.
So, I mean, if you look at,
Even if she had a
well,
chakra.
because remember when Tsunade gets impaled, right?
Yeah.
She must have lost a ton of her stomach there, but it just like grows back.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah,
know.
Well,
That's the way I
they
interpreted the regeneration.
they brought it together. What they're saying is like they healed the wound. It's not like the body was dismembered.
Well, I mean, maybe whenever you get a wound, you're losing some, right? So in some
yeah,
sense, it
but
has to regenerate
okay.
something. I think it is regeneration,
Oh, no, but
right?
so there's a difference, like because the idea is like it amplifies regular regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
Like where you get a cut, it instantly closes up.
Mhm.
But if you like lose an arm, it'll like probably close up, it might stop bleeding or something. But if you lose your arm, for example, you won't grow a whole arm back.
Yeah, it's like think about it as human beings, right? If we get a cut, we do get
Yeah, sure.
like it heals. Yeah. The arm's not going back.
I mean,
but anyway, no.
you could say that, but she didn't get a scar either, Tsunade. It just like
Yeah.
went back to
Anyway.
normal.
Anyway. So let's go back to things. So Hidan and Kage, right? So they're not top tier speed, right? At best, Hidan is like the same speed as the Kakashi from that time period, which is significantly slower than Kakashi in the war. I think we can agree on that, right? Kakashi got a lot longer than in the war. Fair enough?
But the question is, do you think Sharingan Kakashi is slower than Sakura at the end of the war arc?
Wait. So do I think that Kakashi at the end is as
No.
fast?
The Kakashi that fought Hidan, one Sharingan. Do you think that guy's slower than Sakura at the end of the war?
Yes.
Okay, I disagree. I don't know about that.
Well,
I don't think that's
wait. So how is Rock Lee fast?
physical capacity.
Okay.
Trained that long.
Sakura has physical capacity greater than
She
Rock
has
Lee.
physical strength.
Yeah,
Wait,
but I think
yes.
this kind
Doesn't
of
mean she's fast.
to
No,
speed.
That's like saying Halfdor Bjornsson is like the faster than Usain Bolt because like
Well,
what
you
doesn't
get
make
both.
sense.
But actually, yeah, that's an important thing. Is so Sakura gets strong by infusing chakra into her fist, right? That's what Tsunade's technique is. So it's a chakra infusion thing. I think if you can say that you can infuse chakra to be faster, then Sakura should definitely.
Have we
be
ever
faster
seen
than
Sakura infuse chakra into her legs?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's.
She
I don't know.
What else? Wait,
No, we have no. If she could, she should have done it during the Kage arc. She was useless.
Wait. So it's real. So for example, in the war arc, right? She jumped in the air. She punched downwards, and like you see like little tiny Zetsu, like a little finger compared to the giant fucking explosion. Okay. Again, she doesn't even need to even aim correctly. She's being in general. Like, oh, Hidan, are you in this mile area? Okay. Oh, everyone there is dead.
She has range in the sense that when she smashes something, the impact is so wide-ranging that it's basically
She has
a range
to be
attack.
like standing on a wall or something. If he jumps, that's pretty much it.
Well,
She
no.
punched
Well,
the
again, the
ground.
explosion was giant. Do you remember the scan, or do you remember what it looks like?
Yeah, it wasn't.
How big it was compared to Zetsu?
It wasn't really an explosion though. It was like the ground shattered. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
If he
no.
jumps off the ground.
No, what I mean is you see smoke and you see Zetsu like super high up compared to where the punch happened. It was a giant
Okay.
It
thing.
knocked him upwards, right?
Yeah, well, but there was a shitload of them. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think Sakura could just like punch the ground really far away and just like knock him into the air and then just like throw rocks at him until he got buried.
Maybe
Like she
maybe
has
she
like
could do that.
wacky range attacks, yeah.
Yeah, and she isn't slow.
No one
Okay,
said
hold
she was
on,
slow. You
hold
just
on.
tried to make a
Well,
bad comparison that she was
Well, what else?
fast.
No,
I gotta
but-
jump in
no,
here.
but
So
Hidan is-
let's just clarify. Sakura's not. She's not like inhumanly fast or whatever. Let's be clear. She's not faster than like
Well,
these other characters
no,
you're talking
she's
about.
relevant. Is what I'm trying to say. She's relevant in the top tier shit. She is relevant.
So-
Yes,
Yeah, I
but
think-
that's very different than the speed claims that you guys were making earlier, which I will
Well,
refute.
no. So again, for example, she's not as if she was as slow as like Hidan, she would not be relevant in the final fight.
Hidan was fast as Kakashi. That's the problem. Like if we look at maybe not as fast, but he was like keeping up with Kakashi, and Kakashi had to be like on his back foot.
Kakashi is so much weaker. Kakashi.
Well,
He's
so much.
significantly weaker.
Could
She
I?
was significantly weaker than like when he had both Sharingans, of course.
Well,
but
no,
was he still,
I'm not both strong. I'm not in the war.
Let's
was he
clarify
slower?
something.
I'm asking you. No,
real
I'm asking
quick.
if he's slower.
Yes.
Let's clarify something real quick. Is Sakura aware of how Hidan's ability works? I'm gonna assume that she won't be, and if she has this mitotic whatever fucking generation shit, I would imagine that she's willing to take a few blows. Would that not be an instant like loss for her with Hidan?
Well,
Yes, it would be.
well,
Because
no,
I think that she'd take the hit, right, and then she'd realize what the ability is, but Hidan wouldn't realize that she has regenerative abilities, right? So she'd
He
close
could
the
just
gap
stab
and
himself
everything.
again.
wait,
Yeah,
yes, that's
yeah.
the thing. So remember,
It hurts her, right?
wait,
She
so
does.
so it's only implies if you think
So-
Hidan will get multiple hits and Sakura won't get one. If Sakura gets one hit, he'll be blown to
This
pieces.
is- Yeah, if this is Shippuden and Sakura, like he needs to draw his whole circle
Yeah.
bullshit. He needs to do his little chant to his god. Sakura she taps him
Yeah,
on the
actually,
head and his head's
doesn't-
gone. And there's no one there to put him back together. Like Kakazu 1v1, Sakura's gonna win this every time.
Yeah,
I
Hidan-
grant
that's a good
Hidan loses. Yeah,
yeah.
White Zetsu loses. I think Black Zetsu honestly beats Sakura because
He killed Madara, yeah.
Wait, Black Zetsu is weird. It's really variable on like who the host is. Because Black Zetsu was scared Kakashi would kill him, but then he one-shots Madara. It's really inconsistent with Zetsu.
Yeah, Zetsu's kind of...
Yeah, because I remember because Zetsu was scared about Kakashi saying, if I leave Obito, you'll kill me.
I think the most we can say about Zetsu is that he's an unknown, but I do think that he would, at least when he's with White Zetsu, right, he'd probably lose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like Zetsu, as he's usually shown in Akatsuki, would lose.
Okay,
the distinction.
who said that Kisame loses? I want to have that argument.
No.
Oh, 100%.
I honestly-
Easily.
Yeah. Well, I can't take
Oh, God.
Okay.
You guys
Now I
want
gotta-
some of my coke?
that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say Kisame creates this big like water bubble thing that he's stuck B in, and like B couldn't get out of it. We're not seriously going to pretend like Sakura gets out of that, right?
She blows it all away.
How? What?
She'll
She's
move for-
underwater.
She kicks your leg.
She's
Yeah, just kicks her leg,
underwater.
all the
Kicks
air
her
just
leg.
jammed. The force of it alone would shatter the bubble.
Okay, all right. So we're
Okay.
just
Okay.
living in
No
fantasy.
Wait,
way.
wait,
If
so
he
wait,
punches
Lux.
the ground, the whole thing
Lux,
explodes.
I got you one
think he could
question.
do that to an ocean.
Do you think seventh gate guy or if guy could get out of it?
Probably.
Okay, so and they're doing it with just pure physical force, correct?
So I think 7th gate guy is so fast that he could probably move fast enough to get out of it before Kisame could move into it and move the bubble away.
I'm saying, so if guy was inside the bubble, if he was inside it, you think seventh gate guy could get out? Is my question. I'm not talking about he doesn't get in the first place.
I'm saying I think he's fast enough that he could probably swim out before Kisame moved the bubble because
Wait,
he's like.
Okay, if you move your legs fast but there's no force, you won't move. There's be some force behind it, right? And if you move your leg one time, but it's a nuclear bomb level of force.
No. You don't have to just move your legs. If you're swimming, you can move your arms, your legs, and you just get out. Like you can swim fast.
I think you guys are thinking
So
of
if
the
there's no
ocean
force-
versus the bubble, right? So Kisame has two powers. There's one where he just like covers the whole area in water, but then there's one where you actually do the water trapping bubble, right? The water.
Yeah.
trapping, which is a little-
He made like a huge sea in the sky that's
Yeah, that's me about.
the sky.
Oh,
yeah. When he fought Killer
And
B.
then, like-
By the way, the only reason he lost against Killer B, who was a perfect Jinchuriki, is because his
Soul
fucking
chakra.
sword. Yeah, his sword was giving Killer B chakra to fight against
Exactly.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Sakura doesn't have that. You're right.
Wait,
Kisame
wait.
kills her like every time. Are we
Well, no,
are we kidding
yeah.
here?
I
She
mean,
can't
when
use
she-
her medical ninjutsu
Yeah.
to heal herself because he just sucks up the chakra. He chops up into little pieces. Can't regenerate because he sucked up the chakra.
I don't think
like-
could he suck up all of her chakra from the mitosis thing?
So again, so remember.
Probably.
No.
She doesn't have that
Yeah,
much
no,
chakra.
no.
She doesn't have as much
No
chakra as Killer
way.
B.
Wait, no, wait. First of all, no,
Chakra
she has a
here.
ton of chakra.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
You think she has as much chakra as Killer B?
As a Jinchuriki.
Wait.
I just want just for the future of this conversation, so we know who not to even listen to anymore. Do you believe that Sakura has as much chakra as Killer B,
When
the perfect 8-tailed
Yeah,
Jinchuriki? Just
I
just
do.
answer the question
If
so I
she
know nothing.
Yes, absolutely. If she infuses that for
okay.
3 years straight, she
So to be
infuses
clear-
it for 3 years straight. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait.
That's the whole point. That's the
yeah,
ability.
exactly. So to be clear, you don't know either way. You cannot assert one or the other.
So
I'm
I
not asserting
think it's
no. She has a massive amount of chakra in her head. Because remember,
It's gotta be massive. right?
So imagine one person amassing chakra for 3 years versus the Killer Beast chakra, right? Killer Beast chakra is way more massive than Sakura's base chakra, right? if Killer Bee, I masked Sakura for 3 years, it'd be bullshit. But remember, we're not talking about Killer Bee masking it for 3 years. We're talking about Sakura masking it for 3 years and Killer Bee having it for like whatever his day supply is.
There's
It's not the
also
same.
kind of the idea. It's like, well, it's contained within her mark, right? And then it gets released when she gets damaged, I guess. After
And
she
it
activates her
amplifies
marks.
her abilities. It
Yeah,
amplifies
and
all
so
its
if Killer Bee
abilities.
has to like suck it up by just like putting the sword mouth on her or whatever, and it's just like sucking up her chakra or whatever, I feel like she could just smack him and he'd die.
Yeah.
Like we can probably agree at least that like if Kisame got hit, he would die in one hit, right?
He would probably be like severely damaged and
Yeah.
unable to fight anymore. Yeah.
And I think he could fuse with his sword, like because he did suffer a fatal wound, but then when he fused with his sword, it basically regenerated him
Got out.
before all the stuff. Yeah, so I don't think Sakura ever. Also, like, have we covered? Like, Sakura would just drown. Like, if he did the bubble, she would.
Well, no.
Yeah.
She would just drown.
Again, so I don't know how you can say my guy can get out of it, but Sakura can't. I don't get that.
Because he's fast.
Yeah.
She's just strong.
He uses.
That
Wait.
matters.
If my arm is like as strong enough to destroy the planet in one punch, right? And that isn't Sakura's level. I'm not saying it is. Let's pretend it is. I'm trying to make an example.
Have you ever worked out in your life? I'm just curious.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
No, this is a serious question. I'm serious, okay? I don't want to flex on you, but like this is a serious question. Have you ever worked out in your life? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Humongous. Just yes or no.
Yeah.
Just answer a yes or no question. Don't be like one of the people Destiny debates. Okay, please just answer the question.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. Have you ever worked out underwater?
It's a harder yes.
Okay. When you work out underwater, you don't have the same kind of gravity. You're not moving in the same way. If you try moving quickly underwater, it's a very different experience.
Okay.
Sure.
Listen. If we're talking about, imagine someone jumping, right? You can be really fast. No, but the person who jumps the highest will have the most strength, right?
No, not necessarily.
Wait.
I think it's important
assuming weight's the
real quick-
same, okay?
Real quick here.
But one person just has stronger legs.
Sure.
Okay. So
Hugh, I'm just gonna let you know, like the person with the world's highest deadlift and highest squat cannot like dunk. Okay,
No.
like that's not how the muscles in your legs work.
No, wait. No, because there's not the same.
So what should be noted, right, is that like
if
I
you have
think
the same body,
Sakura's cute. Let me talk. Okay.
If you have the same body as
Hugh,
LeBron, but you
Hugh.
can squat 3
Oh
times
my
LeBron,
God.
but it's the same exact.
All right,
there's no
Hugh.
difference in
All
muscle
right,
size.
Hugh.
Everyone
It wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense that you'd be able to squat 3 times as much as him if you had the same body mass.
It's not even
She has
strength. Sakura is not actually
Yield.
that strong. She doesn't have any muscles. What she does is she infuses chakra, right? And then she releases the chakra at the moment of contact.
All right, so I'm just gonna let Bullet finish his stupid fucking thing, and then we're gonna go to Semyar for a comment. Hugh and Lux, you two have just been dominating, so let's go with those two.
Well, while I have the free mic to talk, I'll say to finish the point was that Sakura isn't really strong as much as she is just infusing chakra with her fists and her abilities, right? And so I think that she just kicks her leg and she lets the chakra that she's infused release really hard. I think that would shatter the bubble. And also, by the way, she beats pain, and also she loses.
Oh, okay, what a waste of time. Semyar, your turn.
I don't think we've ever seen Sakura distort space with her physical feats the way we've seen Guy do that when he unleashes the gates. So I think she drowns. And first of all, her cell regeneration, that's like, I feel like that implies that, you're regenerating from old cells. If you literally don't have any oxygen in your body, I'm not sure how she's going to regenerate just from being fucking dead, from suffocating, from drowning. Like she can't get out of the ocean. Her chakra's gonna get eaten up.
Yeah.
There's no way she beats Kisame.
I guess it's not like Hidan where like if he literally dies, he just doesn't die. I guess it's more like she has to have like some kind of maybe just her brain or whatever to like regenerate the non-brain parts, conscious probably. Oh yeah, I think it requires like intense chakra focus or whatever, right? Doesn't Shizune say that? So yeah, maybe. I mean, I will say since Hugh is having a sore rage to talk for him, I know what he's gonna say is that actually, you know what? To make him more mad, he was just gonna say he agrees with you completely. Right, that's all.
All of you, you're all so fucking.
All right, Hugh. What do you have to say? And if it's stupid, bro, we're ending this topic. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know why you think Sakura can do a punch and maybe probably blow up a mountain, but then say, oh, if she's in a fucking bubble, she can't punch and blow up the bubble. What the fuck is this?
All right, you're a fucking you're a word I can't say, bro. Holy shit.
Yeah, nothing.
The first time we're introduced to it, what does
So
Kakashi
when-
say? I can't
she-
fucking move in this bubble, bro. What the fuck is this shit, dude? I'm doomed. These kids are dead. You're so dumb.
Because
All
it was
right.
so heavy. It was dense. No, what do you say? It was
Order.
dense with water. It was too deep to get out of it.
Order. We're done with this. This one
Literally
was dumb.
I'm right.
All right.
Feels good to win.
We're doing a
Good job.
viewer recommendation for I'll give you each
no.
an intro to it, and then I'll go ahead and leave it to the floor for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. The viewer is Grandma's Jello, and they submitted a topic that is, which character was the most underused and or underrated? Who wants to start?
I think I speak for everyone when I say Rock Lee. What the fuck? Just
Underused. Sorry.
underused. Yeah, just incredibly underused. It's such a great showing in the tuning exams. They hype him up. They show someone, oh, he really actually embodies what Naruto started to be about, was that no matter your origin, if you work hard, if you do all the right things, you can be a great ninja. And then Shippuden just like shits all over that. It's like, nope, sorry, you have to be the son of the descendant of a demigod chosen from history to be great. He literally does nothing during the war. It's pathetic.
Yeah, I think a lot of the side characters get underused. I know that's strange, right? But like, so 1010 just as like as a template of a character, right? The weapons specialist. If you actually like look at some of the endings in Naruto, there's a lot where she's just like she's flipping around with weapons, and it's a really cool animation. And I just feel like the way it turned out, obviously she's like incredibly weak, but I think that to have a weapons specialist would have been really cool. And they just don't really go with it, right? Instead of like expanding on the ninja stuff, it just becomes like a giant monster battles and stuff like that.
Okay. And Hugh?
But
Let's go. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking too. God damn it, I couldn't.
Fuck.
Rock Lee's the most obvious for sure.
All right,
Yeah,
leave it to the two
basic
big
answer,
brains
too.
to not come up with an
No,
answer.
no. Fine, I'll go. Okay. Listen. I will say Neji. Okay. I think Neji was made to be really important. He was kind of initially it's gonna be like a foil to Naruto. Like again, so Neji was wrong. Or sorry, Neji was correct actually, because like people are destined for greatness based on birthright. But in the context of the show, we didn't know that. And like, he's like, oh Naruto, you can only be my rival. Naruto, you're so important to me. Naruto, come back. Like
And then he gets killed by like a tree.
yeah. Like you have that idea that like Neji is supposed to like change a lot for the Hyuga, that it just like goes away. It's super weird, and awkward.
I got one actually. Danzo had Shisui's Kodo Matsukami, and he used it like one time, and that was it. And that was during that one. What was it? The conference.
Because it's only
It's the only time he used it.
Isn't it only a one-time use?
Not when because he has Hashirama Cell, so he's able to use it more frequently, and he just sort of like chilled at the Hidden Leaf Village and like drank tea with those two other old people for the entire time.
I mean, I have a lot of issues with the whole Kodo Matsukami with Danza because apparently it's so strong that it's the best genjutsu ever, but it's also so weak that you remember the samurai? He puts him under it. Oh, yo, bro, you're gonna genjutsu. Oh, wait, I didn't even know.
But that's because the guy had a Byakugan though. The guy who caught it, nobody else caught it. All the other Hokage didn't caught it.
Well, no, because I find with Kodo Matsukami, right? If you actually get caught in it, you're not supposed to be able to get out ever.
No. The one guy who was there noticed he had the eye because he had seen it in the war.
I understand that. What I'm saying is like the fact that he was able to get out of it when like it was like, hey, bro, you're in a genjutsu. Oh, okay.
Look, the point of it is that it's a perfect genjutsu because you don't know that you're under it, right?
Yeah, but
you think your own actions are your own. But even if you think something, but someone tells you like, oh, that's actually this genjutsu. If you know about that genjutsu, reasonably you'd be like, oh, I can't trust my own thoughts, and you'd act against them.
So it's like when you have a Jinchuriki who, they had the animation with what's his name, the 8-tail sort of like knocking B across the head and telling him he was in a genjutsu, and like he comes out of it right away.
Wait, yeah, but like it's stated for like things like Tsukuyomi, where even if you're a Jinchuriki, you can't get out of it.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like Kodo Matsukami is supposed to be like infinitely strong.
Yeah, or like
as a
or who was it? Or Obito, how he had a Yagura, 3 tails, like perfect Jinchuriki. It was stated to be perfect, and he was caught in it. So apparently some genjutsu are so strong that you can't get out of it.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I mean, you might be right about that. I just don't know if this is like a matter of how strong Danzo's Kodo Matsukami is, or if it's just a matter of like, okay, it functions differently. I really don't know if this is one or the other.
Yeah, and he's probably not as proficient with it as a natural Uchiha would be. I mean, he can use it more often because of the Senju cells, but that doesn't necessarily make him as powerful, because we know Kakashi, who, presumably uses his Sharingan way more often than Danzo and has mastered it, can't use Kamui as often as Obito can use his, because he's not a natural-blooded Uchiha.
Yeah, but there's also the other thing where like no Uchiha are said to have no Uchiha are shown to have the same ability in both eyes. So are both the Shisui eyes the same ability? Because Itachi's Kodo Matsukami seems to work differently than Danzo's.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, and there's no example of like Uchihas having the same abilities in both eyes, except what do you call it? Shisui. But then if you look at Obito, he's the same ability in both eyes, but they work differently. One's long range, one's short range.
I think they described it, right? I'm pretty sure they described what Danzo's ability did. Like, he was pretty clear that he was basically changing the person's perspective.
No, I'm not saying that's not right. It's more like it's the same ability in the same way Kong was the same ability, but they might
is
work a little
Kodo
differently.
Matsukami a Mangekyo ability? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Mangekyo ability, yes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So that's the time. It's like if we have no example other than that, it's odds are both eyes work a little differently, but it was never explained in the show. Because like it seems like Itachi's is way stronger.
I don't know if it's stronger from one eye versus the other, but I think it's more about how it's the purpose of it is subtlety and like enforcing its will on a person. But if you know about it, right, presumably you can do something about it. But I think its power in that is that it was able to snap Itachi out of, so that he when it happened to him, he was under someone else's control, but it restored dominance to his own mind.
Wait, no, he didn't. It put him under control of the Genjutsu, which is protect the leaf. That's why he wasn't able to stop her.
Yeah, which told it to him, right?
Wait, do you think it's possible that after Danzo got found out that he might have just turned off the ability? Because there was like no reason to keep it going?
I don't. That'd be really weird. Also, because it also worked differently. For example, when we went with Danzo, required no eye contact, right? It was covered up, right? But with Itachi, they make a big deal, a huge deal about like, ooh, his eye and the crow locking on. But so it seems to show like, well, yeah, but then it'd be weird because with Danzo, there's no such thing like that.
Well,
presumably, if Shisui was going to use it on the entire Uchiha clan, he wouldn't have been like, "Hey, buddy, what's?" And like,
I have one speculation. I have one speculation. Okay, I remember during the Danzo and Sasuke fight, Danzo was like saving his last ability, like his eye for Madara. He assumed that it was Madara under the mask, and he's like, "I'm gonna save this eye so that after I kill Sasuke, I can actually take care of Madara." And unless he's like completely inept when it comes to like his own fighting ability and like the ability of Madara, I can't help but think that he probably understands his eye ability is so strong that it would actually be able to, deal with somebody who's like another natural Mangekyo user. I can't help but think that that's probably to some extent like a reason for why we would think.
Well, it's possible, but also again, I don't think they probably also don't know how much of a Chad Obito is at Genjutsu. Obito's the biggest.
Well, he thought it was Madara.
Yeah.
Right, like at the time he thought it was Madara, and he was like still pretty confident. I think that says quite a bit about like how strong the ability is.
I think we could say things like Tsukuyomi and Kodo Matsukami are stronger than Obito's like base Genjutsu from his Sharingan.
Wait, are stronger than Obito's base? Wait.
Yeah, they're like specifically Mangekyo Genjutsu abilities.
Well, no. So I think
some of the two most powerful.
Well, like they work differently. Like, Mangekyo abilities usually generally don't even need eye contact. Like that's the whole point. I think it's in all.
Tsukuyomi does.
Yeah. Well, no. So I thought Tsukuyomi was like one of those exceptions because like, so I thought Mangekyo Genjutsu in general, like if it's a base Genjutsu, it works without, you don't need eye contact. But for something like Tsukuyomi, it's a specific ability that requires eye contact.
I'm curious. Actually, I have a question. I don't know if this even helps, but I have a question. What's better at countering Sharingan Genjutsus? Is it another Sharingan user, like Sasuke trying to counter Itachi's Tsukuyomi? Or is it a Jinchuriki, like Killer Bee?
Countering Genjutsu?
Yeah.
What's better?
what's better at protecting yourself against another
At the high
Sharingan's
level,
Genjutsu?
at the high level, definitely like maybe Sharingan. And
Yeah, I would say.
I love a shot. Okay,
people-
so given that that's the no, go ahead. Actually, sorry. I didn't mean-
A lot of people will debate on this, saying, "Ooh, did Sasuke really break out? Nah, Itachi was just going easy on him and let him get out." I mean, the whole point of the fight of Zetsu narrating it was to say, "Hey, Sasuke was really skilled at what he did, right? And even in the book it says for his brute force of will, right, and his skillful use of his own Sharingan, he was able to break out of it." So I think we can say that like Sharingan is able to affect or work against Mangekyo. I think that's a pretty fair assessment based on what we know.
I'm just curious to know if it's stronger than like a Jinchuriki, because like I feel like these are things that Danzo would probably know just by virtue of having like such a strong relationship with Orochimaru and like having been around for like as long as freaking Tobirama and shit. Like he was around for a really long time. I can't help but think that he would probably know that, and the fact that he had that knowledge and still was confident that his Sharingan would be able to get Madara. I think that's.
I mean, we shouldn't assume
We're
so
assuming
much.
ineptitude.
No, but what reminds me of I'm saying like, why do we assume they know everything? For example, Orochimaru shouldn't be very limited in his knowledge. He's one of the smartest people in the series, right? But he's constantly surprised by Naruto about his Nine Tails and stuff. He thought he would stomp his like Three Tails farm.
He has a lot of knowledge specifically too. Yeah.
Like, so yeah, again, in there are areas which we know Orochimaru knows about, which we can assume he's like an expert in. But we shouldn't assume Orochimaru is an expert on every single tailed beast, for example. I think that's a stretch. He doesn't have a lot of experience. That Akatsuki might know. Orochimaru was kicked out immediately.
Sure, I just don't want to assume so much ineptitude on the part of Danzo that he would make like a massive error like that, because that's a pretty bold claim to make. And he's the one who has that eye, right? Like I think if anyone would know, he would.
Just going back to that, I was a wiki Andy for a second to look up how the Three Tails Jinchuriki actually broke out of the Genjutsu, and in Sasuke Gaiden or Sasuke Shinden, they explain that Ao, who was the one who actually with his Byakugan dispelled Danzo's use of the eye at the Kage summit, was actually the one who also dispelled it on the Mizukage, causing his immediate death after he was released from the Genjutsu.
Okay.
Okay. So basically,
he was released by Byakugan. Yeah.
All right. So someone can just like, well, no, they're not released by. So that kind of lets you see the Genjutsu, I guess, but you can just spell it.
It says in the.
Apparently,
I just looked it up. It says Yagura was released by his Byakugan.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Ability for the Byakugan.
It's
Wait,
also
yeah. So
possible that like the specific commands that Danzo set were to do something that didn't necessarily stop them from finding out and breaking out of it, as much as it is just like, you know, they think that that's their will. Right?
Well, let's put it this way. What other options does Danzo have? Does Danzo have an option to not try it? Either way, he's gonna die, right? Like his best chance was to even attempt it, even if he thought it wouldn't work.
What?
So like, even if it's well, yeah, like so let's say it's out of ineptitude, or if it's out of like or he is correct. No matter what, he has to try to use it on Obito. No matter what.
Well, he could have used it on Sasuke. Sasuke killed him.
Oh no.
Like he was saving it till the very end.
Because he knew Obito was strong.
Boys in the Hood, but he ran like Ricky.
All right.
Man, again,
One
he
more
knew
minute
Obito was
on this
stronger.
one.
He knew he's the big guy. He's the big boss. He's the Chad, right? So like even if he uses it on Sasuke, he'll instantly die. He's his only chance.
All right. I think it's as good a time as any to move on to our next topic, which is another viewer suggestion. Again, to anybody watching this, feel free to donate $10 in the YouTube Super Chat or on Twitch with the link or the command !dono. This recommendation is coming from Very Big Brain. I got so many like uhs and ahs, dude. I'm sounding like another host of a different panel show right now. Irrelevant of character motivation. Rin/Kaguya.
That's fucked up.
I know I'm awful. Fuck, let me read this the right way. Now I'm lost. Irrelevant of character motivation, were Obito and Madara justified in enacting the infinite Tsukuyomi?
Like, is the infinite Tsukuyomi?
Is the premise valid?
Yeah. I think so.
I mean, it depends. It depends what your framework is. Like, do you think like, if you literally put everyone in the Matrix, right? But then everyone had a good life in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Is that just? I mean,
Kind
like
of like It's kind of like
Depending on your perspective.
the experience machine, right, from Nozick, where it's like, oh, if you plug in and you just get like pleasure there, is that like a good life, right? You plug into this machine that just gives you pleasure. But I feel like it's not even just that, right? In the infinite Tsukuyomi, it's not just like, oh, you just like get like pleasure like you would if you just took a bunch of meth, right? It's like you actually experience a life that is like meaningful and valuable, but it's a dream, right? It's not real.
Yeah.
And so I think that like if we abstract it a little bit, we kind of get down to the principle of like, is it a good life if it's not a true life, if it's not true, right?
Wait, so is it
It's
cheating?
reality.
Wait, is it cheating if I say this? The Tsukuyomi, until they didn't notice, it turns everyone into Zetsu. So it was temporary. So therefore not justified. Is that the cheat answer?
Well,
we can look at both.
We're
situations,
assuming
right?
that doesn't
well,
happen.
we know from
I know.
even if it does happen, we know from when Itachi had Kakashi in his Genjutsu at their very first meeting, you know, that it seemed like he was in it for days. So even if you will eventually turn into a white Zetsu, it could have been like you lived an entire lifetime while under the effects of this Genjutsu.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Like if you go into like a simulation or whatever, and it just like saps your body of energy, and you die after like 2 weeks, but while you're in there, you experience like 3 times the amount of life, right? Or it could be even longer than a normal.
I mean, Kakashi was in it, I think, for like less than it was a few seconds, but to him it felt it felt like 5 days. So like if
it could be as long as
2 weeks, that's a lifetime.
Yeah,
I understand that, and like that's totally possible. So then the only thing that matters is, does it matter that you're basically not giving them an option to say no? And if you don't care about them saying no, them saying no, even if it's a quote unquote objectively more positive experience, right? Because I think we can say like they will experience a happier time if they were in it. Yeah. So if you say you don't care about consent, then yes, it's justified. If you care, then it's not. I mean, I think that's where it leads to. That's the final point. There's nothing else.
Of course, you'd be
I mean,
okay with no consent.
Wait. You wouldn't be okay. I love consent, right? I'm the one who loves consent the most.
You could also just say that, like, even if it is supposedly a more meaningful experience from the perception of the person, that if it's not real, then it's not actually good, and then therefore, like, you shouldn't. It's not just that you have to consent to it, but that you shouldn't do it at all.
Wait. What do you mean real though? Like I don't know if that. I don't think real or imaginary experience, since you take away from that, it is a positive experience.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree, but some would disagree. I think that, like,
well, I know, but I was just we're dumb.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that a lot of philosophy goes into that, right? Like about, is it good is it good if it's not real?
Yeah, but a lot of your current experience isn't necessarily real. It's a lot of it's based off assumptions.
Yeah, sure.
I'm curious.
So like,
can you reproduce once you're in the infinite Tsukuyomi?
Possibly. Well, so you think you're reproducing, you think you're having kids, right?
Yeah,
but they're not real kids.
Right, but then those kids don't have any experiences because they're not real.
Yeah, it's just part of your imagination.
Well, the only
then you're like the last generation of.
Sorry? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say you're like the last generation of human beings to exist at that point, and then after that, that's it, right?
No. Yes, but
if you say like within the world. I guess like once you die, that world just disappears.
Yeah, because the other things don't. Yeah.
You're the dreamer, right? So everything in that reality is based around you. So once you die, the whole thing ceases to exist. It's basically the end of civilization as we know it.
Exactly.
Because we know the purpose of it in the first place is so that the fucking aliens can come down, eat the chakra fruit, and basically leave the planet, leaving everyone dead. Yeah. So it's like
I don't know if this is explicitly stated against or not, but we can say that this is the hypothetical, right? Maybe that the amount of time, like the time dilation, can be as long as it wants, right? So like the actual number of lifetimes that go on in the dream maybe could be much longer than just a single lifetime over the 2 weeks, right? Maybe it could be infinite. And if that's the case, right, like if after your death in the dream, if it's like the infinite time, is the experience of the simulated kids still happening within the dream? Does that make sense?
I say no. I don't think that they're having an experience. Yeah. I feel like the better question is forced sterilization acceptable? Because that's really what's happening here.
Call it that. Well, I don't recall that because like okay, then we're getting into a really cucked argument saying, "Oh, we're morally obligated to make kids," and I don't think we are.
I'm not saying we're morally obligated to make kids, but if you're denying people the ability to
Yeah.
actually make kids and continue civilization,
Yeah,
now
and
you're-
remember,
wait,
Keith,
so
you're denying them
I-
consent by forcing it on them. With
Wait,
the
so I don't see why you take an issue at this point rather than the initial point of saying, "Why did you force me in the first place?"
It's
Like, I
similar.
feel like
it's just another consequence of.
I know, but obviously, like I feel like there's no way you're saying the second one without the first one, right?
No, I
The
understand. I'm
Infinite
just saying the end of.
Tsukuyomi. Sorry, the Infinite Tsukuyomi. It's basically rumbling if you think about it.
Oh
Yeah,
my
very
god!
similar.
Don't start.
It's
Oh
basically
god.
cute,
what
right.
now?
The rumbling.
There's a part of it where.
Oh,
like,
are
if
you
it's not
from? Do you know Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Booksmarts?
Yes.
Okay,
No
yes.
spoiler.
The Infinite Tsukuyomi. It's basically the rumbling. It's the end of all things. You just flatten the earth, put in a nice little
No.
chakra tree, And the rumbling apparently also has aspects of Infinite Tsukuyomi in that you're in like some idyllic dream world where you can be on a farm with all your friends and no one's killing each other. You're not committing genocide. It's a great time.
But Ray, what if they really want to?
Dude,
Taking away their rights?
do you feel like Lux's point kind of gives rise to that question of like, if it's not real, is it really valuable, right? So like, if you force them into it, and they think it's real, but they're not actually having kids that will go on to have their own experiences, then it's like, I think you're lying to them too about what they're.
Well, I think there's a distinction of that meaning when we say real and not real, only because like isn't the same way like you don't know if you have a kid bullet, you don't know if they're real.
Oh.
It could be from a simulation house. So like, what's the difference? It's only different if I tell you it's different. So if I don't tell you it's different, then there actually can't be a difference. You can't possibly think there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, do you care about like the lives that kids will experience in the future for their own sake, or for the sake of like how it's perceived by people that are living now?
Well, so I would care about them if they are having an experience, but they're not having an experience. They're imaginary. Why would I care?
Yeah, so like right now, the future generations are only valuable insofar as like there are humans right now to experience value for the future generations. That's fucking.
Well, again, it's like
I get what you mean. Yeah.
It's weird to talk about like, the value of your so because we're talking from an external perspective. Internally, they think their kids are real, but externally, like we know their kids are imaginary things that when they die, that's it. So that simulation ends. So if that's the case, why do we care about anything else in the simulation? Simulation's over.
I guess I think the difference that you could draw is that one of them you know it's a lie, and then one of them you don't know for sure.
Yeah. Well, so
and I feel like
we know it's a lie. They don't know it's a lie. So if they don't know it's a lie, then I don't know. So I don't know why it matters. I guess.
Yeah, but we have to
past that initial point
from our own perspective, right?
Oh, I know. So basically, past the initial. So exactly, which is why I would say if the problem is consent to get into that simulation, or if you don't care about it. Because I feel like if you agree that it doesn't matter about consent, you kind of have to agree that they should be in it. If you agree about consent, you have to say no. I don't think there's really in between here.
Yeah, but
I think that's one aspect of it.
But I think
it's
that's
like,
simple.
No. I think that I guess like what plays into it, right, is like, well, the consequences of this are a world that we know is fake versus like not doing that in a world that might be real. Does that make sense? I think that when you talk about the value, I think it's beyond just consent, right? It's about like what they're actually consenting or not consenting to, what you're actually giving them.
We're only discussing like the value of the individual who's perceiving it.
Well, yeah.
Like that's a very narrow framework because presumably, they don't only just care about their kids because they're experiencing their kids, right? They know that they're going to die one day and they want their kids to live on just because they have the fault. I don't think giving them the faulty idea that their kids are going to live on and have their own experiences without them is a moral proposition.
Yeah, just to try to just really like solidify why I think it matters more than just consent is just that like if you think that it's only about the consent thing, and that if they don't think consent, then it's always okay. It's just that consider, right, that would be the same as saying that the infinite Tsukuyomi in the chakra zombie version is the same as the infinite Tsukuyomi if it were not actually that. Does that make sense? Because from the perspective of the person, in both scenarios, they think they're living a long, fruitful, meaningful life, right? And in both scenarios, you're not giving them consent, right? But in one, they're turning into a chakra zombie, and in the other, they're just in a dream world, right? Do you think they're the same?
They'll still die.
Wait. Yeah. Well, to them, it would be. Well, to the person experiencing it, would be the same. But well, I might say this. So let's say hypothetically, let's say one of your parents was under deathbed, and before he died, you said to them, hey, I'm definitely gonna have a great life. I'm gonna be very successful, blah blah blah. But even though you're pretty sure your life's gonna be absolute trash,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
right?
debate Naruto on weekends.
Yeah, exactly. You'll just be debating Naruto
For the rest of
forever,
my life,
okay? Yeah. So originally, so was that a bad thing you did there? Because you misled them?
I don't think so. I think some would say no, but I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So I would agree with that. So insofar as like that same reasoning, in their mind they really care about your life, right?
Mhm.
But like they care about it insofar as they
it's
can
a
sense
noble
it.
lie, right?
Yeah, it's a noble lie. So you could argue that this is a noble lie.
Yeah, I think you definitely can. I guess it's just like is the question to me is beyond just like, well, if they consent to the lie or not. It's just
Well,
it's not just that, right? It's like whether or not a noble lie is good or bad in of itself, right? Like people will say
yeah.
that the noble lie is
Well, I
always
think
wrong because it's not
well,
because it's a lie, right?
well, I don't believe that. I think most people would say like if someone's on their deathbed, like you tell them something that
Yeah.
is good, even if it's
Most
not true,
philosophers would say that.
isn't a bad thing.
I wanna
Go ahead.
ask Lux about this because he's the Code Geass fan,
Oh,
and
no.
that
Oh,
series
yeah.
ends with the famous
True.
lie. So, like, how do you think it's morally justified to give a noble lie if you think it'll help the world?
Yeah, I think. Well, okay. So I think if the outcome is good, then it's probably acceptable. I think if you're telling somebody that this is the way a thing is going to be, and that has like a measurable improvement on their experience, then you're probably okay to do it, assuming that person doesn't find out. But if you end up causing more harm, which in this case it wouldn't cause more harm because you end up just dying. If it did cause more harm, I would be opposed to it. But that's like obviously the measure
Is it good outcome relative to perception or good outcome relative to objective truth? Does that make sense, right? So like if it's a fake experience.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Is there different?
Yeah. So, well, yes, that's the question.
Yeah.
Like, is there in this scenario, is there a difference, right? So, generally in the world, there might be a difference. You might be able to come up with a scenario where in the real world, this might have like a measurable impact on you. But in the case of Tsukuyomi or Infinite Tsukuyomi, you're literally just going to die, and there's no way for you to get out of it.
Wait. So, Bullet, for example, if we live in a society where objectively the living standards are better, right? So two sides. One, living standards suck, but everyone's really happy. Living standards are better. Everyone's really not happy, right? Who should we favor? Right? If you can't change them, anymore, I'm assuming you'd probably favor a society where everyone's really satisfied, right? Even because their perception is that it's really good, despite that objectively, right? It's pretty much inferior.
But what do you mean?
It's worse.
What do you mean in objectively? When you say objectively, it's better, right? Like you're
like we can compare two different societies and compare like living standards, like oh, they have access to like hot water, better, more nutritious food, blah blah blah. Like those are examples of stuff that we'd say is good living standards.
Yeah, the problem is you created a qualifier of happiness for the second thing. So what you did was you said, okay, in both of these societies, you have in one society you have bad living standards versus good living standards. You have water, food, shelter, all that stuff versus not having it. And then the other scenario, you said, okay, these people in one group they're happier than the other group. It's like you're measuring two different things at this point.
No. So what I mean by that is like your perception of the circumstances is different than the quote unquote objective reality if we can compare two different things.
Sure, but we're not comparing two different things.
Oh no.
30
So my point is. Yeah. Oh no. So my point would be so if we did, if we would ever say that the perception matters more, then why do we care about the objective standard? We care about how people think they are.
The problem here is in this. So the reason why this is disanalogous is because in your scenario, what constitutes an objective truth is not stated. Right, so you're creating two separate things. It's objectively true that their living conditions are superior in one versus the other. But if you were to actually say, okay, your happiness is a part of your living conditions, then all of a sudden your entire calculation falls apart. Whereas in the case of the Tsukuyomi, we don't have those same qualifiers because they're already living in a fantasy world.
Okay, and we're gonna bring this one to a close. I just have one. I just have two very quick questions. I'll go around the room so that everybody is clear. The first question is going to be, in the position of Obito and Madara, uncontested, would you force the Tsukuyomi upon the world? And the second question would be, if the Tsukuyomi was being placed on everybody, would you willfully submit to it, assuming you had a choice? So we're going to start with Bullet. Would you force it, and would you submit to it?
I think I would force it. I would definitely submit to it.
All right, Hugh.
Mike.
if I could force it without anyone knowing what's going on, then it has to be a surprise. And would I submit to it? If I knew everything about it, then probably yeah.
Yeah, you could have a girlfriend in that world, Hugh. Lux, what about you?
I already have one, you loser. Okay, I don't want to shit.
I would not force it, but I would submit to it if it was happening.
All right, Semyar.
Say no to both.
Damn. Alrighty. Well, we're going to move on then to our
People
next.
should suffer.
People should
You mean
suffer.
by yourself? Everyone else is in the tree, and you're just like hanging out by yourself.
Hey, just like Madara.
Yeah, Ray's like, yeah, I wouldn't do
Madara's
it. Shadow,
plan.
I just wanted to do the evil thing. I agree
Yeah.
with you.
So Madara's plan was to chill solo. You would have been bored.
Yeah.
Let's go to a topic that might be a little easier on everybody, a little less deep. This topic is going to be: is Boruto that bad? I'm gonna start with Semyar on this one and work backwards.
I think the manga isn't that bad. I think the anime suffers from. I mean, I think Naruto is that bad, honestly, when you consider the anime in its totality with the fillers. So, on that level, I'd say yeah, Boruto the anime pretty unwatchable with the fillers, but the manga, no, it's not that bad. It's basically like the transition from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z is kind of how I look at it.
All right, Lux.
So I think it's I don't like it very much. I think it's more of like the transition from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball GT, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's more of an apt comparison. But I can't stand it. I think the characters are awful. I think like all the characters we already like aren't doing shit. Guys in a wheelchair. Like I don't want anything to do with it. I'll pass. Thanks. Sasuke's cool though.
Okay, I'm gonna ask both of you a separate question here because I think it's relevant, and then I'll also ask the other two who haven't been able to answer yet. How many episodes of Boruto have you watched, Semyar?
Really, I only watched like 10. It's unwatchable. Like the anime, it's like how Naruto. I haven't watched Naruto through like the anime. I've only read the manga because you get to fillers and it's just like this is fucking unbearable.
Interesting. And Lux?
I watched up until they met with Kid Naruto and Jiraiya when they went to the past.
The past.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well that'll do it for me.
And Hugh, is Boruto that bad, and how far have you watched?
Okay. So from what I can tell, it's like Zoomer's first introduction to Naruto. That's what it feels like. And initially, from what I noticed, it felt really just boring as shit. It was super because all the characters were so whiny and annoying. But later on, it seems to be picking up pace and getting better. And my knowledge of the show, it's all random YouTube clips. I've never sat down and actually watched a full episode of Boruto in my life, and I don't think I ever will.
Oh man,
Pull
classic
it.
you.
Same two questions.
Strong opinion, no evidence. So I know it's kind of a meme question, but I do think there's like interesting discussion to be had about like Boruto's quality. Personally, I think it's pretty bad, but what's interesting, I guess, is that like I think what makes it bad is almost in a way what makes Naruto good. In that like, so you look at the audiences of these two shows, right? And it's probably going to be the same people, except when you watch Naruto, right, you're much younger, and so like the filler is not as abrasive. There's a nostalgia factor that I feel like it's not really considered that much about people who review the show. But I mean, generally, like Boruto is worse. I feel like objectively too, just in terms of some writing standards, right? I mean, objectively, right? But common writing standards. So it suffers from power scaling issues immediately because Naruto and Sasuke kind of have to play a central role, but they're like gods from the very beginning, right? Some of the art is actually worse. There are some really good animated fights, but I feel like the shading on the hair is like it's not even a gradient. There's like no shading. It's just like a single color, and it's just like a blob on the top of their head. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. The filler's definitely worse, but I don't know how much of that is influenced by biases of us being older as we watch it now. And then the number of episodes I've seen was, I think, the first 60. and then I watched some of the other arcs, but got kind of bored. And then I've seen clips on YouTube.
There's a filler in Naruto where they have to track down a bug that's supposed to get Sasuke sent, and it gets ruined because Naruto farts. Like, I don't really like the you're talking about like the writing quality. Like, Kishimoto doesn't get any awards for writing. Okay,
What about-
Yeah. It's the
What about
placement
this,
of the
though?
filler, okay?
What about this though? Okay, I saw like an episode of Boruto where, like, you know, their main antagonist in that show is literally Otsutsuki. It's like those gods from the other
Kage,
planets and
yeah.
shit. Okay, these people, like in that show, they've got Boruto and Shinki going 2v1 against one of the Otsutsuki members and like not dying instantly.
Yeah.
Like, we saw what the difference between like Sasuke and Orochimaru was during the Chunin exams. Okay, this is effectively like the level that Boruto is at, and yet, despite that fact, they're literally like going 2v1 and actually like responding and getting away and like running away and like doing some damage and like hitting him and getting. Come on, man!
Yeah.
This is just some BS. It's not. It doesn't even make any sense.
It definitely botches the power scaling
Scaling.
in Naruto. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like a lot like what GT does, or like a lot of sequel series does. It makes the show, the main show, feel so much worse.
It's
Because it makes everything so
understandable, kind of.
inconsistent as fuck. The
It-
time
yeah.
travel made it also even worse. Because they see base Naruto fighting Otsutsuki
And
and
then the
Jiraiya.
version of him too.
Like,
where it's
what the fuck is this? That's some bullshit. Not my Naruto.
Not my Naruto.
Yeah.
It made no sense at all.
Hashtag not my Hokage.
All right. Well, for a more interesting question, from your guys' perspective, being ignorant motherfuckers that haven't even seen the show, what could the show do to improve, to make it better?
It's lost. I'm sorry. You can't come back from that.
I
There's
can
not
think
really
of some
much you can do.
things.
Really? Okay, go ahead.
So I think there's actually some interesting premises for character development in the show. Like, people complain about, oh, Boruto's so bratty and stuff, and it's like, well, I think that, you know, given we already have Naruto as a beloved character, it would be interesting to see, like, so Boruto has like the bratty teenage years, and then as he gets to know Naruto better, but then, you know, I don't know, maybe they kill off Naruto or something, right? And like Boruto's character development has to be this like learning to live with the guilt of like not really being good to his father growing up, and then like having to struggle, and you see like the compare and contrast of the Boruto world versus the Naruto world in terms of like wars and how they deal with conflict and stuff, and then, you know, kind of trying to like really maybe like give like a like flipping the whole oh, this is the good guys and the bad guys and love has to win over hate, right? Kind of flipping that on its head and trying to give like a realistic version of that, showing like, yeah, this is like actually a really, really hard struggle beyond just what Naruto experienced, right? And then like Boruto having to continue that as his legacy is like difficult. I think that'd be cool. But
Anybody else on how to improve it? You have a lot of thoughts on how bad it is.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm not really like, I feel like the anime is in a completely different direction from the manga on like pretty much every single level, so I can't really on the anime, because like the whole, I know like you, I've seen like the time travel stuff in YouTube clips, and when I saw that I was like, what the fuck? Because that's not in the manga, so it's like, what a weird thing to just throw in there. I feel like that was purely for nostalgia factor. I feel like they're hitting like the worst spot between like trying to cater to old fans and also like bring new ones, and they're doing like the worst of both worlds.
You know what they could have done? They should have made the show about Himawari learning taijutsu from like the Hyugas, and then like having Rock Lee mentor her and learn how to use the 8 gates. That would have been sick as fuck.
That would have been cool.
That would have been a cool ass story.
Just,
Yeah.
I think he wrote himself into a corner when he put himself in a scenario where you basically got Sasuke traveling with Boruto, and you have to make like Boruto like useful. Right? Like, you've got Rinnegan Sasuke, and then you've got little Boruto, and they're fighting people that are supposed to be giving Sasuke trouble, and Boruto's supposed to make himself like you've put yourself into a really bad position where you've literally only got like one other character besides Sasuke that's even in that realm, and then everyone else is so far beyond useless that
it's like throwing
sucks.
Kage into this and being like, well, this is
Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
I mean, overall, it's like the series ended on a great note, and the whole world, quote unquote, was at peace. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we love each other, we're gonna hold hands. So the only way you can ever move off of that is like say, oh, all the villains or like the main enemies are all aliens. Like, okay, now it's not even the same series. It's just cringe.
So in the manga, they're not all aliens, but it's like basically it goes into more like the Akatsuki Akatsuki biology and how they can like kind of in
The
there's
karma
this thing
marks,
that
the resurrection.
and so
but it's still alien based. Like you have these like completely separate entities who aren't part of the world at all.
well no
All the villains are all interconnected. You know what I mean?
the main villain right now who's like a successor to that is he was born in the Naruto universe. He's a human, but he's taking over because he has a white karma mark and he's trying to become one of the, the same species as the aliens, but he's not one. That's why I said I compared it like Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, where it was like, oh, you know, the Dragon Balls are made by like this mystical god, like forever going. It's like, nope, aliens, and they're coming here to fuck you up. So it's like that's why the transition.
Whatever he made the Dragon Balls, he made the Dark Dragon Balls, and oh my god.
And like King Piccolo being like a Namekian instead of a demon, and then like, so why was he like spitting out demons in Dragon Ball? But it's like, can all Namekians do that in Dragon Ball Z? Is that just something he learned how to do, where he could like just spit out eggs and shit? So I feel like it's kind of similar.
Man, can Namekians make babies? Because they're all dudes. That's a real question.
1 minute.
So I think Semyar makes up a good point actually, because from what I'm seeing in the manga, it's true that there's like an arc right now where it's basically Naruto and Sasuke are getting fucked up by some guy. I'm not paying too much attention to it, but that's basically what's happening. I just can't help but that if the entire the spin-off is to make like a show about Boruto, and the only people who are able to do anything in the show are Naruto and Sasuke, it's kind of like self-defeating until you make Boruto stronger than those two. Yeah, totally. And I don't see that happening anytime soon or ever.
What it should have been really, I think there's a word for this. It's like a specific type of trope or whatever. But if I think they should have just started the show off as like, oh, this is not what you expect, right? The world's in total chaos and the village systems have collapsed or whatever. And Naruto and Sasuke are missing, right? And then you've just taken them out of the show, and you can just start over from like a chaotic period where you don't have like filler where they're like chasing cats and like doing little kitty shit.
Imagine
it's like
you made a spin-off with Yamcha. You know what I mean? In Dragon Ball. That's what's happening. You make like a Yamcha spin-off. And, like the show's about Yamcha, but like every time somebody comes around, it's got to be like Goku and Vegeta that have to beat him. Like, what's the point of the show? It's so stupid.
I mean, to be fair, I would totally watch a Yamcha spin-off, right? The guy who's like super powerful, but yet everyone
to Yamcha.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, you're right. Because Yamcha's literally superior to everyone, all the right humans. But then at the same time, everyone treats him like shit and bullies him for no good reason.
Exactly. If you made the show like a romantic comedy and it's like Yamcha steals Bulma back from Vegeta and now he has to like run around the world hiding from Vegeta who's like chasing him around, this might be a show we could watch, but I don't think it would be like an action show at that point.
I feel like Dragon Ball Z at first, like if we go to its original run, the Cell Saga is kind of more apt comparison to Boruto, because Boruto, like how Gohan's kind of groomed to be like the successor of Goku, the true defender of Earth, right? He's the only one strong enough to defeat Cell, and that's kind of what's going on in Boruto right now. And I feel like Boruto actually probably takes a lot of inspiration from like Dragon Ball Z up to the Cell Saga.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
You just got to give him a Nine Tails, that's all.
All right.
Well, he's basically
he has that mark, right? He has that,
yeah, which basically, and you know, the Nine Tails comes from the 10 Tails, which comes from the chakra tree and all that. So he basically has the same capabilities.
And we're wrapping this topic, moving on to one of our planned topics. And the last one, before the Uchiha question, which is, we're going to end with that one. For the viewers at home, again, because I did not prepare a Notion document with the rules this time, just a quick reminder, if you would like a topic read and discussed by these fine gentlemen here, then you can do so by donating $10 and giving me the question of your choice. That can be done through the Super Chats or by typing !dono and submitting a question that way on Twitch. I'm happy to take any of those before we hop into the Uchiha question. And again, we're just going to do this one topic that we prepared beforehand. And that's going to be, who was the weakest Kage at the time of that final arc in Naruto? I think that's the question, right? Is that how you wanted it done, Semyar?
Yeah, who do we think was the weakest Kage when they all banded together to fight Madara?
Okay. And we're going to exclude Mei, right? Because...
No. Well, what do you say? That's the answer. That's the obvious answer.
All right, so we're gonna exclude Mei, unless you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna, you know, I don't want to. Now I'm sweats to needed. It's not because. Let's just jump to
Because she
Bullet.
beat
Bullet, who's the
Sakura in
weakest?
best way. Well, I was gonna say May because she beat Sakura and I was salty, but I think the weakest shit. I'm trying to remember who the 5 Kage are. So you have Gaara, you have the old guy with the particle jutsu. I
Yeah,
feel like
you have
those
the
are pretty strong.
You have Tsunade and the Raikage.
Tsunade and the Raikage, yeah. Oh, shit.
It's I think his name's like Otsuki or
Yeah,
Oki or something.
Onoki.
The
Onoki is
Tsukage.
the
Onoki.
Inoki.
Oki, Gaara, May. Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Tsunade.
Look, we really can't say May.
You think,
Come on.
I just feel like everybody's gonna
think
pick
if
May,
May
right?
melted off Tsunade's flesh, that
if you take the characters as they were during the war, I would argue Gaara just because of inexperience, and also because I think that it's kind of hard, right? I feel like in terms of raw power, Gaara has really wide capability, but then like if you put them in a versus battle versus each other, I feel like Gaara loses for sure.
Wait, is that what we're doing? Or is it who would win in a fight against all the Kage?
Well,
All
I
right,
don't know. It's
Hugh,
just, I feel,
your
yeah.
turn.
Okay, well, May is clearly the weakest. I don't know how anyone could argue otherwise.
Never excluding May.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I can't use May, then obviously Tsunade.
You say obviously.
I don't believe
I'm
this.
noticing a pattern here.
I don't believe this. This is the same person. This is the guy who was talking about Sakura's going to kick herself out of that water bubble, but now all of a sudden Tsunade's weaker than Gaara. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Tsunade is a trash tier Sakura. Let's be real.
You
Can we
can't.
defeat-
Okay, so
Oh my
can she
God.
not punch through Gaara's sand? If she can kick her way out of that water,
She can't even punch through Susanoo.
Oh,
you think
no.
Gaara's sand is stronger than a Susanoo?
Gaara said
Hold up.
like yeet Madara out of
It
Alright.
pulled him out. It like yanked him. Okay.
All right, we're gonna jump to Lux then. Lux, who's the weakest then? What do you think, bud?
The weakest person here is humongous. I'll tell you what.
You're fucking wrong. You're always been wrong. You've been wrong at every single point, okay?
True. Okay. We can talk about that later. But yeah, no. The answer is almost certainly Gaara. I can't see a way around him beating the Raikage. I think the Raikage is too fast. I think Tsunade is too strong. I think Onoki just sort of like one-shots him. And
Sorry,
we're not talking
who's
about
strongest in that period, or who would win in a fight? I'm confused.
Well, it depends on your reasoning,
Who's the
Hugh.
weakest?
Everybody can arrive at different conclusions through different methods. That
Well,
seems to be Lux's
in the
approach.
context of, I've already talking about in the context of the Madara fight, like the Madara fight context. I thought that's the whole point.
And I thought I heard you
oh,
say
it's in terms of like
Tsunade.
who's most useful
so-
fighting Madara?
Yeah, like I thought that was the whole point of this. Like,
Can you just be honest? Do you just hate women? Is that the problem here? I've never
Yeah,
seen
I
women
don't
Is it-
think this is like
And
a
with
sport
that,
thing.
we're gonna move on to
I
Semyar.
can't
What's
say
your
May's
opinion,
together.
Semyar?
I think even including May, I would say that Gaara is probably the weakest because of she has 2 different abilities, and the lava one, it's like, yeah, that's kind of stupid, like the way that it's shown, it's not very good. But like the more dangerous one is that corrosive mist, and I don't think his sand could actually keep that out. I don't think it's like airtight, and I think she actually does land, even though he like walks it off. I feel like she does corrode part of Madara with it. So I just think that even including May in it, Gaara's the weakest, even though he's more he has more utility overall as like a support character, and I feel like that's where he really shines. You know, he can really aid people. But in 1v1 battles, I think all the Kage, wipe Gaara.
All right,
It
and
is
now
notable
free
he
for
can fly, so.
Wait, so guys, please,
Dude,
such
Scott
context, okay? No, yes, Scott tonight, totally. Okay, so are we in the context of the Madara fight or them fighting each other? These are different things with different answers.
I feel like you just have to take overall power and then. We
Okay,
can do
no,
both.
well, I gave you 2 options, okay? Just pick one of them, please.
All right, fighting
Man.
each other is probably more interesting because
Yeah,
Okay, fighting each other for sure. Okay,
Cool.
then if we can't, May would still be the weakest here. But yeah, you're right. Dana would still be Tsunade because she's slow as shit.
Yeah, I think right. An important point is that Gaara can fly, so I feel like.
well, maybe Tsunade could just infuse some chakra into her legs and jump up to.
Yeah, actually, I agree with that. I
Wait.
I agree. Okay. That's a
Wait,
good
holy shit,
position.
wait.
Thank you.
Oh my fucking god, no, this is some bullshit right now, okay? You're trying to...
Say that here.
Oh my god, I'm so triggered. Okay, listen. Okay, Tsunade, first of all, she is slow. And she's weaker than Raikage. So Anoki is, for some reason, fast. I don't know why he's fast, but he's really fast.
Makes him
changes
okay,
his-
up light, yeah.
stance, yeah.
No,
intensity.
Like apparently he's faster. So I think Data has said this. Where like, Inoki is faster than when he was younger. It was some weird bullshit like that. So I don't even know why.
Yeah, it's probably because he's probably his jutsu's like better, so he
It's
can make
like
himself
older,
literally
yeah.
as light as a. He experiences literally no force of drag or anything like that. He just literally like flies through wind.
Yeah, sure. So he's fast. Gaara also very, very fast in the air. He's very mobile. This is just very yes, he is.
His sand is fast.
Mobile.
Like his sand is fast, and he like sits on it. It's
Well,
like being
yeah,
in a car.
You know,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah, he's as fast as his sand. He's as fast as he wants to be. As fast as he can move his sand. Okay. Tsunade, I think we can reasonably say is slower than the sand. Can we reasonably say that?
I'm just going by your previous argument about Sakura. I don't know.
No. Unless you concede Sakura beats Kisame, I don't want to hear you make the argument.
I would turn it back on you unless you concede that Sakura loses. I don't want you to make this argument.
I think Sakura is faster than she can jump in one direction. But Gaara can,
Right?
yeah, Gaara can weave around.
No, but what you were saying is that Tsunade was slow. What I'm saying is, okay.
Yes. In the concept of that fight, she is the slowest character there. Well, no, May is probably
She's
slower.
not, I don't think
Do you
Tsunade
think-
is slow. I think she has trouble pivoting, which Hugh doesn't seem to. But
I never pivot. I never pivoted once in my life.
I would say that.
Go ahead. Do
we ever have is Gaara really that fast on the sand? Like in his fight with Data, like was he able on his sand to fly as fast as Data on his mount? Like he kind of floated, and without him on it, when he was just like sending sand after him in tendrils, that was fast. But like I don't think we've ever seen Gaara like use his sand like a fucking nimbus cloud and use that to travel places, right? Like so if he was able to like fly that fast and like do things like that, I feel like he would have utilized that.
How about when
he did. Whenever with Naruto, we carry Naruto's body.
Yeah.
He literally did that. He used Nimbus Cloud.
I still think
run away.
this is from inexperience.
Was he that fast? Is what I'm saying. Like was he like?
But not only was he that fast, his sand at that time was specifically super light, which made him significantly faster.
To be fair,
Oh, that was
also like they didn't really have any options.
Wait. That's the Gaara we're using from the Madara fight. He has light and sand.
Yeah, but not if he's fighting other.
Yeah.
It's not like the Tsuchikage is going to be like, hey, here, have some light sand, now you can fight.
Yeah,
us.
it was light and-
He uses the light. So the light sand is for his own personal movement, right? He doesn't like necessarily use the light sand in every single fight.
But he only has the light sand because of the Tsuchikage, and we're not giving him that because he's
Yeah.
fighting the Tsuchikage. Among
Okay,
others.
no, okay, sure, fair enough. I'll never forget.
It's like oh May wins because Ao's there with the Byakugan
Yeah.
like in her ear telling her what they're gonna do.
Hey,
Like, and we're all talking-
So Gaara, he just makes as much sand as he wants. I mean, he can just make infinite sand. So he can just make a whole ocean of sand for Tsunade. Right?
Well, he
Put
has
her
to
in Dragon
he has to activate that first. Like it doesn't
Well,
just turn into
well,
sand.
well,
He
yeah.
has to like infuse his chakra and his sand into it, and then
Yeah, so to be clear, so then my argument is, hey, can Tsunade catch up to Gaara and punch him in the face? If not, right, Gaara can basically make as much sand as he wants and destroy her.
I think he could. I think.
man,
she
I'm
just
already
launches
saying that
a
Gaara's
little
the
missile.
weakest.
Wait, so again, so if you think he's slower and not as agile, Tsunade.
I think Tsunade beats him. I think May beats him. I think every Kage beats Gaara.
I'm
in
asking
that
very
fight.
no, you're being really weaselly, Ray.
All right,
Okay,
Ray,
I'm asking a
answer
very
the
specific
fucking question, you little
It's
weasel.
Ray, by the way. All I see is Semyon.
Oh shit, yeah, my bad. Semyar, what the
Hey, Ray's
fuck?
cousin, Ray's
Semyon
cousin.
is,
Answer the fucking question.
Repeat it for me.
Okay, do you think Gaara with sand is slower and less agile than Tsunade?
Like while he's flying, or just in general?
Including when he's flying, yes.
When he's flying, I'd say yeah, because he has more directions of movement. But when he's on the ground now,
Okay, so